Hello everyone. So we are from group 8 and we're going to present to you about the phonological alternations, processes and rules. Before that, let us introduce ourselves.
My name is Alma with last student number 215.
My name is Elmira with last 3 digits to the number 161.
My name is Anissa Shafrina Ramadhani with class student number 173.
My name is Atifa Paramaniha with last student number of 178.
So I will present to you about phonological alternation as a variation in the pronunciation of a sound of group of sound phonics that occurs due to the phonological rules or context without changing the meaning of the morpheme. One is plural formation. It's like cats. It's like c, s, dog, z. Horse is like easy. These are voicing alternation based on the final sound of the noun. And the second one is past tense formation. Well, could is like he played d, wanted id. This is another alternation condition by the preceding sound. And the last one is palatalization. It's like electric. It's like electricity. It's like k. It's like s before e. Example of palatalization, a type of phonological alternation.
Next, we have the phonological processes. So it is a articulatory adjustment that made during the connected or rapid speech, and it is resulting in the sound alternations, and it has the future changing rules. What is it? Next. The first one is assimilations. It is when two sounds become more alike. For example, in put, the transcription spelled as the N sound, but when we pronounce it, we add the and p sounds, like input. So it is assimilation because the two sounds n and is becoming more alike. The next one is dissimilation. It is when two sounds become less alike. For example, the word fifth there has three fricative, the f, t, and s sounds, and the fricative, stop fricative, and it is dissimilation because the sounds of the words become less alike. Next is deletion. So deletion is when we removing a sound. For example, the schwa deletion. In word suppose, when we say it quickly, instead of saying suppose, we delete the schwa sounds and it becomes suppose. And then the word chocolate, instead of saying chocolate, we say it chocolate. Next word is camera. Instead of saying camera, we say it camera. Next one is epenthesis. It's when we add a sound. So the consonant epenthesis in word something, we added the p sound in between. For example, in word something, we say it not like something, but we say it something. In the word warmth, we added p sound, warmth, and then in athlete, we said the schwa sound, athlete instead of athlete. Next is the metathesis. So metathesis is swapping sounds. So it happens when kids or adults may change the order of sounds due to pronunciation difficulties or by learning it that way. For example, the word prescriptions, instead of saying prescriptions but they are in pres, we say it prescriptions. In the word spaghetti, we often heard kids say it as pesceri. And then in the words foliage, we say it foliage instead of foliage. Next is reduplications, is copying parts of words and attaching the copy to the original word. For example, helter-skelter, willy-nilly, and poo-poo. Next.
And the next one is phonological rules. A phonological rule describes how a sound changes to another B in a particular context. Rule format means that A becomes B when it is between X and Y. A. The rule format means that nasals are deleted after syllabic sounds in fourth final position. For example, going, to going, and is dropped, doing becomes doing. And B. Glottalization of voiceless stops in word final position. The rule format means that voiceless stops, t and k, become glottal stops when they appear at the end of a word. For example, cap, cat, and bag. The first rule is parenthesis notation. Parentheses mark optional elements in rules. The rule format means A becomes B either between X and Z or between X, Y, and Z. For examples, polarization in English L. There are two, clear L in live and dark L in foul. So the rule format means that L becomes polarized dark L at the end of a word or before a consonant. The C shows that a consonant may optionally come before the word boundary. You can try by saying live. The L in live is a clear L, and now you can say feel. The L in feel is a dark L. You can feel your tongue move back for the second one, and that is polarization. Next. And the second rule is braces. Braces represent an either or environment. The rule format means A becomes B either between X and Y or between Z and Y. For example, the rule means that T is glottalized at the end of a word or before another consonant, for example, K and Pa'an. The third rule is superscripts and subscripts. The little numbers show how many consonants C or vowels V can appear near a sound. Subscript 2 means that at least two sounds. For example, V2 means at least two vowels. Superscript 2 up to two sounds. For example, C2 means up to two consonants. Subscript example, the rule format means that N becomes N before a sequence of two consonants. For example, thankful and bank. The last rule is of annotation, represents matching features plus or minus in multiple positions of a rule. Alpha stands for either plus or minus. The rule format means a nasal becomes N before a consonant with the same plus N without core features. For example, unproductive, P plus N mean core, M plus N mean core, indeed T plus N plus core, and plus N plus core. The last one is include, the K mean N mean core, and N mean core. Next.
So the next one is alternation types. There are 4 types. The first one is phonetically conditioned alternation. This alternation is purely conditioned by the phonetic environment. So, for example, the T or D sound can become a quick D sound between vowels in American English, as in the pronunciation of the T in water or butter. The second one is phonetically and morphologically conditioned alternation. So this alternation is determined by both the phonetic environment and the morphological structure of the word, like grammar or plural or singular. So this example is the plural of leaf changes the final consonant sound. The singular one sounds like leaf, and the plural one sounds like leaves. So the singular one ends with an F, the plural one ends with a V. So the leaves is from F to V. If the noun ends in sibilant, the plural takes the form of is. If the noun ends in a voiceless non-sibilant, the plural takes the form of s. If the noun ends in a voiced non-sibilant, it ends with a Z. Next. So the third one is phonetically, morphologically, and lexically conditioned alternation. So this alternation change depends on the sound, the phonetic environment, word structure, the morphology, and the specific word itself by its history or identity. So, for example, electric, the C sounds like a K, and the electricity, the C in electric sounds like S. So the velar stop K in electric is fronted and fricativized to an alveolar fricative, which is S in electricity before a high front vowel segment. E in the derivational morpheme or the suffix ity. The electric is an adjective while electricity is a noun. The fourth and last one is non-phonological alternation. You may call it suppletions. So there are no phonological processes involved in getting from mouse to mice or from go to whence. So, for example, which is mouse, the other version of it is mice, and go, the third version of it is went. So the only thing that connects these words from each other are the grammar. Okay, next. So questions for practice. Determine the phonological processes in the following words that change. The first one is impolite to impolite. The second one is kick it to kicked. The third one is strong to strong. Okay.
Right, so we have the answer here. So for the phonological processes, the first is impolite become impolite is process of assimilations. Why? Because the nasal n changes to before the bilabial p, and it match the place of articulation. Instead of impolite, it becomes impolite. Then second, kicked become kicked. It's deletion because the vowel in the suffix ed at is dropped and the t sound is added directly after the k sound, forming it as a voiceless cluster as kicked. And then the third one, strong become strong. It is metathesis because the sounds are reordered. So the R and the th is switch place, which a classic example of metathesis. So it become strong like that. And that's it from us. Thank you.